Thanks, everyone, for watching 12 News at 10. I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. Tonight, a lottery ticket worth $12.8 million is sitting in a corporate office, signed, unclaimed, and at the center of one of the strangest legal fights Arizona has seen in years.
And that is because the store manager who found it reportedly already knew that it was a winner before he bought it. 12 News journalist Kyle Simchuk is outside the store to break down this bizarre lawsuit.
Well, it sounds simple enough. A store manager at this Circle K in North Scottsdale found a winning lottery ticket the day after the drawing. But $12.8 million has a way of complicating things, and tonight lawyers are trying to figure out who that ticket actually belongs to. It was November 24th when a customer walked into this Circle K at Bell Road and 56th Street. They wanted to replay their lucky numbers for the pick drawing, an Arizona lottery game where 6 numbers stand between you and a life-changing jackpot. The cashier printed $85 worth of tickets. The customer paid for $60 worth and left. The remaining tickets sat on the counter. That night, the Arizona Lottery held its drawing, and somewhere in that leftover stack of tickets was a winner. Not just a winner, the winner, a jackpot worth $12.8 million. The next morning, store manager Robert Galitza came in to start his shift. According to a lawsuit filed this week in Maricopa County, he quickly learned a winning ticket had been printed at his store the night before. He found the leftover tickets and checked them, and he confirmed one of them matched all 6 numbers. What he did next is where the story takes a turn. According to the complaint, he clocked out, took off his Circle K uniform, and walked back in as a customer, paying $10 for the remaining tickets, including the one he already knew was worth nearly $13 million. He signed the back of the ticket but never cashed in. That's because Circle K found out what had happened and intervened, taking the ticket to corporate headquarters where it remains tonight. Now Circle K is suing Galitza and Arizona Lottery. According to the complaint, under Arizona lottery rules, if a ticket is printed, refused by a customer, and not resold, the retailer owns it, which could mean Circle K itself has a claim. Now, all the parties involved have until May 23rd to get this sorted out, because that's when this $12.8 million lotto ticket expires and becomes a worthless piece of paper. We're in North Scottsdale tonight. Kyle Simchuk, 12 News.
I know I should have bought all 80 of them instead of 60 of them.
That is so bizarre. I wonder if anything like that has ever happened.
I don't know. It's just the most bizarre thing I've ever heard.
It is, yeah.
I mean, the taking off of the uniform
and the whole, the whole thing. It'll be interesting to see how it turns out.
Yeah, or maybe it was Chris Dunn that bought the other 20. Who knows? Let's bring in meteorologist Chris Dunn now. After a snowy past couple of days up in the high country, it looks like we are in for a big warm-up, Chris.
I shouldn't have waited to get down to the lottery office and just go. We have a big-time warm-up coming up. Well, we only hit 64 today, so this is winter. 72 is normal. We'll be back to normal tomorrow, and then I do have 90 degrees in the forecast coming up next week. The average date of our first 90 in Phoenix is March 30th, so we'll be about a month ahead of schedule as far as 90 degrees is concerned. The forecast highs 86, 88, 89. There's 92 next Friday, 1 week from today. Compare that with the records, 91, 92, 91, 92. Yeah, we'll tie it on Friday. And you might remember last year on the 25th of February, we hit 90 degrees. So this is somewhat familiar territory. What's happening? This high pressure ridge is building back in the wake of that third and final storm system that rolled through here last night with some snow for the mountains and little spritz of rain for the valley, and of course the cooling that we've seen. This high pressure ridge is going to hang out for a couple of days, giving us that high heat. So starting this weekend, sunny and warmer. Prepare for the 80s, and next week we'll need to prepare for the 90s. I'll look at that 7-day forecast and more coming up.
Chris, thanks. A man is dead after a shooting near ASU's main campus early this morning. Police say just after 4 a.m., 3 men were shot near Apache and McClintock. The 2 other men are still in the hospital but in stable condition. There are no outstanding suspects, and we're still trying to learn what led up to the shooting. It's been 20 days now since 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie disappeared from her Tucson home.
Tonight, law enforcement is still going through thousands of leads, but at this time, they still don't have any suspects or any people of interest.
12 News journalist Chase Golightly tells us what investigators are currently looking at.
Hundreds continue to search for Nancy. Today, we were told part of the focus is going through and watching neighbors' security camera footage. Several homes surround 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie's. The Pima County Sheriff's Department said on Friday some of them have sent in their home security camera footage that investigators are carefully looking over to see if they find anything suspicious or someone matching the description of this person caught on Guthrie's own camera from the morning she was taken, showing a person in a mask and gloves walking up to her front door. Authorities are also waiting for results of DNA analysis, including from a glove found about 2 miles away from the home. The Sheriff's Department said tests found no match with the FBI's massive criminal database, turning to genetic genealogy, similar to a 23andMe or Ancestry database.
Databases where people have sent their spit or cheek swabs in to find out more about their own family tree.
Tina Say is the senior writer at Science News magazine. She says most companies don't allow law enforcement to access its information, but some do.
If one of your relatives has put their DNA in a database, chances are they can find you.
While it only takes one relative to find a match, it really depends on how close of a relative it is. Distant relatives make it more difficult, but not impossible. The process can take weeks, but it could take much, much longer.
Even if you don't find a match now, you might be able to find one later if a relative uploads their DNA.
Meaning it could be years or even decades before that happens. Now, that glove was found more than a week after Nancy was last seen alive. Says tells me the DNA may be old and degraded, and that alone may make this process even longer. Of course, we'll keep you updated once those results are in. We're in the Catalina foothills. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
All right, Chase, thank you for that. New tonight, the Arizona Department of Corrections, Rehabilitation and Reentry is pushing back after a federal judge ordered the state to give up control of prison health care.
The department says, quote, the department strongly disagrees with the court's decision as it disregards the immense progress that's been made. We will aggressively pursue an appeal of this order.
The ruling comes after more than a decade of litigation and years of complaints about inadequate medical and mental health care.
But the department argues the order overlooks recent improvements, including adding staff, expanding mental health services, and also creating specialized programs to address drug and alcohol use.
Today in Kingman, family, friends, and fellow troopers honored DPS pilot Robert Skanke, one of the 2 troopers killed in Flagstaff earlier this month.
He and paramedic Hunter Bennett died when their chopper went down while they were responding to an active shooter call.
During the memorial, Governor Hobbs and members of Skanke's family gave speeches highlighting his illustrious career, including his service in the Marines.
Hunter Bennett's service will be held Monday at 10 a.m. at the 23rd at Mission Church in Gilbert.
As we celebrate Black History Month on 12 News, we're putting a spotlight on a trailblazer in city politics. First, as the first Black woman elected to the Phoenix City Council, and again as the first Black female vice mayor. I recently had a chance to catch up with Keisha Hodge Washington about the work that she's doing representing District 8 and her new appointment as vice mayor. You were a relative newcomer to city politics, so tell me, how has the journey been so far?
The best word to explain the journey has been affirming, meaning that I thought I wanted to do this to help our community, and I've been able to do that in tangible ways.
Born in the U.S. Virgin Islands, Keisha Hodge Washington came to Phoenix in 1999.
The one thing we have in common is heat, but not as much, but it was a life-changing transition.
After graduating from ASU, Washington spent the next 2 decades as a lawyer, working for the Arizona Attorney General's office and the Arizona Court of Appeals. In a 2023 historic race, beating the incumbent by double digits, Washington became the first Black woman elected to the Phoenix City Council, representing District 8, which has the city's largest Black community.
It's still very humbling when I think about it. I know I follow on the footsteps of Dr. Morrison Warren, who was the first African American to represent the district, and I follow in the footsteps of like the Honorable Calvin C. Good. I know that I get to walk in their I create my own path, but I follow in the steps that they have taken. It's very inspiring.
Since taking office, she's focused her efforts on affordable housing, homelessness, and job growth. What kind of progress have you made on that over the last 3 years in your district?
I would say that we have made tremendous progress. In 2024, when that was completely under my leadership, my district led the number of new entitlements for housing units in our city, meaning these are actual places where individuals can actually have a home. We've also focused on affordable housing in the district. Between last year and this year, we anticipate almost an additional new 500 units of affordable housing.
Meanwhile, recent cuts to federal funding by the Trump administration are threatening a setback to that progress.
If those changes hold, we anticipate about 3,000 units that will not be accessible to individuals in need. And primarily, most of them are within the city of Phoenix.
Washington has championed the use of the city's Housing Trust Fund to keep her constituents off the streets.
One of the things that we're trying to do is keep people from becoming homeless. So another program that I championed for was the legal assistance program. As a lawyer, I know that when you go into a courtroom and one side is represented and the other side is not represented, it is not a balanced environment.
And on job growth.
We continue to move forward. We have a couple projects that will be announced shortly that are moving that needle forward. We want to also make sure that individuals who may have made a mistake in the past are able to still partake in the job market.
To showcase her dedication to local workers, Washington launched Keisha on the Job, a YouTube series featuring her stepping into roles of city employees for a day.
What I have done, for example, graffiti busters. I go into community, I've spray painted over graffiti. I've been a park ranger where I've talked about park safety and making sure you're pretty much hydrated along the way. So we try and do it to highlight the different opportunities at the city of Phoenix.
She credits her passion for service and advocacy to the lessons learned from her working class parents.
I call them two of the hardest working people I've ever known. And yet in the midst of all of that, they always showed us the opportunity or the importance of giving back to others.
In January of 2026, Washington once again making history as vice mayor of Phoenix, the first Black woman to hold the title.
The role for me, it's such a boost of confidence for my colleagues to place that level of trust in me.
What advice do you have for young, especially Black women who are trying to navigate this world and achieve success the way that you have?
There is no right or wrong way to live your life. You have to, as long as you're authentic to yourself and you're driven by the passion that comes from here, because that's the thing that has to drive you in everything that you do. There will be some ups and downs on your path, but that's what makes your path your path. So there is no right or wrong way to be you. So learn from your mistakes and move forward, driven by your passion.
As vice mayor, she'll serve a one-year term while continuing to lead District 8 until the end of that term in April of 2027.
So my intention with the role is, in addition to just being there when the mayor's not available. But I really want to use the platform to ensure that we, one, continue to focus on the core issues that we have that I've mentioned, such as homeless and housing, as well as economic development. Phoenix needs to continue to be a place where everyone can live, work, and play, and too many people are having a little difficulty with the live portion, and we want them to work there, and we want them to have fun while we're here. Phoenix is a great city.
And she truly is dedicated. As you can see, she doesn't have much free time. It's a lot of work for her.
Yeah. Did she talk about what her aspirations are in the future?
She did not mention that, but I guess we will have to check back in with her.
Yeah.
She still has a little bit left on her term as councilwoman, and then, of course, the vice mayor position will be for the rest of the year. So we'll have to see. We'll check back in with her after that.
Yeah, well, she's still very young. She can do a lot.
You do a lot, yes.
Yeah.